Good evening. They are the most vulnerable members of our society. Elderly and disabled people who struggle to look after themselves and need help.
But to save money, social care funding is likely to be withdrawn from thousands of people in the Meridian region because they are not disabled enough. West Sussex County Council alone is cutting £31 million from adult services, almost 40% of its total budget cuts.
The council's chief executive, Kieran Stigant, is among the higher paid in the country on a salary of £175,000 a year.
9,000 people in West Sussex are to be reassessed over the next 6 months. Those judged to have moderate needs will lose money.
Campaigners have already held demonstrations and have launched a fund to fight the cuts. In a special report, Kerry Swain has been meeting people with learning disabilities who are frightened for their future.
So shall we start making the apple crumble?
Yeah.
Yes. So what do you think we need?
We need this, don't we?
Yes, we need the peeler.
Definitely need a peeler.
Every day a support worker helps Tony Jolly cook dinner. He gets 15 hours a week one-to-one support with his finances, shopping and cleaning, and 24-hour on-call help, enabling him to live independently.
You're doing a very neat job there, aren't you?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Tony can't manage alone, but could be assessed as having moderate levels of social care needs and lose the funding that pays for his carers.
I probably wouldn't know how to cook by myself. I'll probably set the house on fire or something. I'm scared, I'm frightened, and they've got no right to take anything away from us. No right whatsoever, none.
The Aldingbourne Trust supports 300 people with learning disabilities. The charity estimates up to a third could be affected by the decision not to provide for moderate levels of adult social care needs. Only those with substantial or critical needs will be funded, saving £6.5 million over the next 2 years. Paul's social worker has told him he's likely to lose his funding to attend the centre 2 days a week, just over £80.
I keep thinking to myself, why do people have to go through it and pick on vulnerable people? It's us that needs the care, and it's being possibly taken away from us. It's not right, basically.
9,000 people are to be reassessed over the next 6 months.
According to the parameters that have been published by West Sussex County Council, if he can wash himself, feed himself and walk, he has moderate learning difficulties, irrespective of his mental age. It means that either his mother or I will have to stop work to look after him, or he has to be institutionalised, which is going to cost far more to the county than him living independently.
I'm really angry, upset, and if this happen, what I'm going to do, just stay home, be bored.
When I turn up sometimes, and some of them are so lonely, it's heartbreaking to go around there and think that you're the only person they've seen for 2 or 3 days. And that we've worked so hard for this, for the you tenants to live independently. And if we take that support away from them, I don't like to even think what's going to be the future for them.
Their demonstration failed to stop the cuts being imposed. Now the Don't Cut Us Out campaign wants a judicial review and has launched a fighting fund. They say the most vulnerable among us must be protected. Kerry Swain for Meridian Tonight.
Well, earlier I spoke to Amanda Rogers, Director of Adults Services from our Brighton studios. Amanda Rogers, thanks very much indeed for joining us. The young man in our report asks, why do they pick on vulnerable people? So that's the question I'll put to you. Why are you picking on vulnerable people?
West Sussex County Council is absolutely not picking on vulnerable people. We have a commitment to ensure that we protect the most vulnerable people in our community, and ensure that everybody else who needs some kind of support and services is able to do so.
But you're taking £31 million off adult services, so how can that be helping vulnerable people?
It's helping vulnerable people in the context of the County Council having £79 million taken out of it over the next 3 years, and the context that adult services spends 40% of the County Council's budget, so non-schools budget, I should clarify. Well, so it really isn't possible for us to take out that kind of revenue expenditure without looking at adult services, but ensuring that we make sure that by investing into
against this, Amanda, if I can interrupt you, against this, you've got a chief executive earning £175,000 a year. How can you justify that when you're cutting services for the most vulnerable?
West Sussex County Council is a very large and complex organisation, as all county councils are, and if we're to be effectively led from the top by the best people in the country in order to see us through this extremely difficult time, then we need to make sure that we have the best leaders.
Amanda Rogers, answer me one thing. What is going to happen to these poor people when their help is taken away from them? What's going to happen to them?
They're going to be put in touch with the range of voluntary organisations that we're investing money into. As you may be aware, the local authority is taking responsibility for all public health across West Sussex, and as part of our investment into public health, we're going to ensure that we invest in voluntary organisations, community groups, all sorts of things to make sure that we're developing communities and enabling people to get the support that they need.
Amanda Rogers, very briefly, any chance of a rethink on this one? Very briefly.
The decision has been taken following extensive consultation and the due democratic process.
We shall watch with interest. Amanda Rogers, thank you for your time.
Thank you.